Man City have confirmed the signing of left back Rayan Ait-Nouri
Nice.
from Wolves. He signed a 5-year contract. City are believed to have paid around £33 million with add-ons, and he'll soon link up with Pep Guardiola's first team squad ahead of the Club World Cup later this month. Now, this is a player that you, Stephen, have been raving about for some time, haven't you? So, are you pleased now that this finally confirmed that Ait-Nouri is a new Manchester City player?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League, if not the most consistent of the past few years. I think he's absolutely brilliant, and it feels weird to me as a City fan that we're actually signing a left back. It's something that City don't do really, sign traditional fullbacks. And I don't think we signed an out-and-out one since Mendy, and obviously that didn't end up very well. Before that, there was various sort of fixes with Zinchenko and Delph, and Cancelo, of course, played there for a while. He was a right back that ended up at left back for City. We just had a very gaping hole in our squad now for a natural left back. I know Josko Vardiel has played there this season and so on, but I think it's very obvious that he's much more comfortable as a centre back, and we saw that towards the end of the season. So this for me is perfect. He's the exact right age, he's the exact right profile. Decent height, good pace, technically absolutely wonderful on the ball. Very Manchester City in terms of his quality. A little bit Cancelo-esque, actually, you could argue with his ability to the ball at the feet, and hungry to be here as well. So I think this is a really smart signing for City for a very good fee as well.
Yeah, and as you mentioned then, sort of Benjamin Mendy was the last natural left back that City have had in their squad. I think his last appearance for City was August 2021. So in that time, City have had to, use different sort of makeshift options in that role.
Yeah.
Of course, Josko Gvardiol recently has been in there and he's done quite well, but now Ait-Nouri is, he's a left back and he really has the chance to make that position his own now under Guardiola, doesn't he?
100%. And I think the way City have been playing over the past 2 3 months, we sort of found a system that started to work with us. In the back line, of course, was Nico O'Reilly, Josko Vardy, Ruben Diaz, and often Mateus Nunes at right back. And it did sort of coincide with City, becoming a lot more tighter defensively because it wasn't just the back four, though it helped that they were more physical with the pace of Nunes and O'Reilly. But it was the structure of a sort of bank of three midfielders ahead of the back two. So obviously O'Reilly and Nunes with their pace got forward really far and really wide, and we don't really see that very often in the Guardiola side where the fullbacks are that far forward and often even literally overlapping. It was a bank of three, often the most experienced players like Kovacic and Bernardo and Gundogan sort of sat ahead of the two centre backs to sort of cover and the midfield and stop any counter attacks, and it started working for City. And the added width that O'Reilly was providing, we saw a couple of assists against Bournemouth, and it let Marmoush drift inside as well, central, or Doku drift if he wanted to. But it became a tactical option that was really working for City. And look, previously we were linked to Cambiasso in January, and I think that was going to happen. And I think that was indicative of a very different sort of tactical approach that City were going to have because he's obviously more right-footed and would invert more obviously. Don't get me wrong, Ait-Nouri can invert. He has been drifting a little bit more central this year compared to others. But he's a natural left footer. And I think essentially they looked at the impact of Nico O'Reilly, who's excellent, and I hope he gets game time still too. But they decided to go for a very similar profile at left back and go for a more experienced, complete one. And I think that's what Ait-Nouri is. I think tactically he's going to help City an awful lot because Marmoush likes to be positioned on the left and drift inside. He's not your typical winger. And I think we'll see a lot of that next season with Marmoush going close to Haaland and Ait-Nouri providing the width. He can do that. He's a cracking player. He allows functionality there to City to have fullbacks that can keep the width. And I think he's going to be absolutely excellent. And I think it's a continuation of what we saw with that back line of O'Reilly, now Ait-Nouri. Then Vardy will be able to play central with Diaz alongside him. And I presume City will look for some sort of right back option. But either way, I think they'd stumbled on something they want to improve next season. And I think this is the first step towards that.